Hey Frank, I got $1,000. What do I do? Well, welcome everyone to an episode of Frank Finance, where you can get your honest financial information and your questions answered. Today's discussion is going to be just that. You have $1,000. What platform do you use? Which one? The easiest. And which ones do I recommend? We're going to cut right to the chase. We're going to use the Ford stock. And what we're going to do is pull up WeBull and TD Ameritrade and let you see and decide for yourself which one you prefer and which one you like to look at. Again, they are both phenomenal engines for you to use, so keep that in mind. Here's a snippet of WeBull. As you can see, this is extremely user-friendly. This is, to me, the number one perk of WeBull is how user-friendly it is and how beautiful the user interface is. Gives you a nice candlestick graph, which is the ups and downs in the front there. Very easy to change the intervals on top. Then on the top right, you've got the pre-market, the current rate. You've got a nice cut and dry area to buy and sell the stock. Ability to place your orders, extremely easy. And then on the bottom left here, it's in a very nice position to quickly go through and look at the financials, see how they're doing on an annual, quarterly basis, see what the analysts are saying, as well as see if there's any press releases out there like a 10K or 10Q. So overall, I give this a 10 out of 10 from a user interface perspective. But again, the only downside to me on this is the buying and selling is extremely slow and how fast you get availability to your funds, as well as taking the funds once you sell it and push it into your bank account. It actually takes a significant amount of time, which was one thing I was very unhappy about and why I do not buy and sell on WeBull anymore. Alright, so what I have in front of you here is Ford on TD Ameritrade. You can see this is not as pretty as WeBull. So you can see on the top here, it's talking about where's pre-market at. It talks about the buy and sell buttons are there, which the buy and sell you can see on the bottom. I've got up here, it's you click and change the action, the quantity, the order type, and then you submit your order. So it's pretty straightforward and easy. From a graph perspective, there's the summary on the beginning that kind of gives you all the information there that you need to know. And you can walk through the news, so any news articles that are out there, the charts, just like you've seen in the WeBull, where it's going to go through the candle graphs, the earnings, it tells you all the earnings releases and what's the expectations, the fundamentals around this stock, any valuations that have been completed. The calendar tells you when the dividends will be released, when their press releases will be in the future. The analyst reports are going to be talking about how do they feel about this stock. Is it a buy or sell? Is it add on a scale of 1 to 5 from what the analysts would report? And again, who are these analysts? Well, the analysts are those individuals that are reviewing stocks on a daily basis. They're the ones that are listening to the earnings call and helping us average individuals understand, should we buy or sell the stock? Unless you're on that Tesla hype train when you just buy for no damn reason. Again, it's not as pretty, but there's definitely more use and right to the point information with TD Ameritrade, under my opinion, which is why I buy and sell on TD Ameritrade. Alright, so what are my stock recommendations? ETF stocks, which are ultimately stocks that are not one individual company, have lower risk because they're not as volatile, and we'll get into it right here. VOO. That's the ticker symbol of Vanguard S&P 500 EFT. So why do I recommend this stock? Well, this one traces the S&P 500. And why is that important? Well, that is a grouping of our top performing companies in the United States. And so, obviously publicly traded companies. And so with that being said, I have the TD Ameritrade app up because I feel very comfortable with the TD Ameritrade app and I enjoy their research tab here. So I'll just kind of scroll through it. What you can see is the candle graph. You can see that this stock was impacted in March just like everyone else was, or Q1 of this year. But what I will say is when investing, remember, maybe it's every paycheck you get or monthly you take and put a percentage of funds into the market. Obviously, if you did like weekly, that is probably the strongest way to invest and help over time grow your portfolio. So for instance, let's say you come in January, you started investing for the first time. It was at nearly $300, a little over $300 a share for this one. Then it continues to tank, but every single 2 weeks you're buying in, buying in, buying in, buying in, and it starts to recover, right? And you get all the way up to today where it's at 330, which is actually higher than we were in all of last year. And even if I go on a 3-year average, you can see that this happens all the time. But if you're always buying in the dips and you continue to buy every single 2 weeks, that is the strategy that you need to really think about. So now let's scroll down here and show you some other things. This is just the pricing details. There's not a lot going on here. You can see it's at its all-time high ever. And that the volume trending is light because people don't buy and sell these at the same rate they do an individual stock. They're not trying to make a quick buck. They're trying to make investing for retirement. There is an annual dividend. It's very light, of course, at 1.6%, so there is a little bit of dividends in there that you will receive from owning the stock, which is great. So not only do you have strong growth potential, but you have dividends with that as well. You could see that how has it looked from a dividend perspective over the last 4 quarters. And down here on the bottom, it shows you how the rates looked over the last year, 5-year, 10-year mark on owning this. So you could see that over the last 10 years, this stock has actually contributed 13% per year. Think about that, 13% per year. So if you have your nest egg just sitting in a bank account making no money, you could have been earning 13% a year. And so when you think of that $1,000, obviously $1,000 growing at 13% is $100 a year. It doesn't sound like a lot, but you can't make a lot of money if you don't continuously invest over and over and over and over again. It's a starting point to start the habit. The habit is what you're trying to form of investing bi-weekly or weekly or monthly so that over the long haul, it grows significantly. And then down here on the bottom, this is just a little comparison to say, how did this do against the S&P 500 index? And you can see it's almost 1-for-1 here. Hopefully you enjoyed this video talking through the 2 platforms that I recommend, WeBull and TD Ameritrade. Below are the links to sign up. TD Ameritrade goes right to the website. WeBull is actually my referral link. If you sign up through the referral link and you deposit $100, you actually receive 2 free stocks, which is phenomenal to start off. And then in terms of how to invest your $1,000, I will always recommend going to ETF and starting to create a habit. Remember, this is investing in stocks. It is subject to risk. It is subject to market perception and value, and it is not always guaranteed to increase. When you think about the S&P, when you think of the Dow Jones, it is not something that we are in a never-ending downward slope. So keep all this information at bay, and hopefully it helps you in the future. Have a great rest of your day. Bye now.